Hello, and welcome to A Little Bit Scattered. This is episode 3, and I'm Becky and live in Portland, Oregon. And I'm just looking at the weather, and fall is here. It came in a hurry. I think last week I said that in one day it just changed, and I thought that maybe the weather would get warmer. But it actually hasn't. It just keeps raining and it's getting a little cooler. So I kind of gave into it this week, and I've been lighting candles and putting out pine cones that smell like cinnamon, and just kind of getting in the fall mood. And part of that is what I'm drinking in this cup. One of the things that I did with some dear friends when we lived in Florida and we missed seasons because there really aren't seasons. I mean, there's kind of humid and less humid. And we would, on rainy days, because it usually in the summer would rain every afternoon, and we would just close up the house and pretend like it was fall. And I would make a chai tea that my friend Donna actually taught me how to make. It's basically milk, any kind of milk you want to do, almond milk, coconut milk, regular milk, and then you steep chai tea in the milk and then put a little honey. And if you want to add more spices like nutmeg and cinnamon, you can. And you just kind of let it simmer and let it steep until it gets all, chai. It tastes like a chai tea latte without the coffee, but you could add coffee too. So anyway, I was being nostalgic and remembering those days when my friends would come over and I'd make this and we'd sit and stare at the rain and pretend it was cold. So here is actually a little cooler, and so I can enjoy that. The other thing is this is a mug that I got in London when we were traveling this summer. I collect the Starbucks mugs from all the places that we go. So this is my London. It's actually really cute because it's got London here, and then just some iconic sites of London. And there's only like one little color, the Starbucks logo, of course, and then the little telephone booth. So anyway, so I've just enjoyed. I'm from Portland, so I was born here. I love the rain. I love to open the windows when it's not too cold out and just listen to the rain on the trees. It's such a peaceful sound. And I just don't mind it. But I know a lot of people struggle with like seasonal depression because it does get gray here. And that's part of the problem with all the rain. The benefit of all the rain is that it's really green and lush here. And that's probably one of my favorite things. I love trees and mountains and lush. So I'm in my happy place. So woke up this morning, and the first thing I always try to do is think through my menu if I'm not working. If I'm working, my husband's on for dinner. And then I always have my niece and her husband over for dinner as well on Tuesday nights. So that's when I do my podcast. So my menu for tonight is I'm just going to make a vegetable soup with all the vegetables that I have from my garden, and probably put some pasta in there. And I'll use vegetable broth because my daughter is a vegetarian, but you could do it with chicken broth. And then I'm going to do make your own panini. So I'm just going to put out like all different ingredients and let people just kind of make their own paninis the way they want to have a panini grill, which I love. And then I think I still have lots of apples left. I've been canning apples all week and I still have a ton left. So I think I'm going to make an apple pie. Just try to use up these apples. And so that's the menu for tonight. So I've got kind of those things started. I did bake some chicken, and I like to just bake it with olive oil, salt, and pepper on low heat. And I feel like chicken breasts just taste better that way. So that'll be option if you want to put it in the soup or on the sandwiches. And let's see, what else did I prep? Oh, I went to the grocery store, so that was good too. So got a lot done this morning. I think my time where I have the most energy is in the morning. So I try to get the things that I have to get done, I try to do in the morning, just because then when I'm tired, I just want to sit and knit. So speaking of knitting, I'd like to go ahead and show you some finished objects that I have. So it's only been a week since I last podcast, and I promised you last time that I was going to show you some of the color work that I've been doing. So I went ahead and bought the Soldontna pattern because everybody has been talking about it and posting on Ravelry and Instagram. And I just thought I was actually kind of going back to my goal of trying to use up a lot of my yarn in my stash. I was just looking at patterns and yarn and weights and how much I have, and it's just kind of trying to figure out what I can knit with the yarn that I have. And so I knit a while ago. In fact, I haven't finished it. I knit a doll, like a little girl, with a couple outfits. I actually knit her a couple dresses. I'm thinking about who I want to give it to, maybe for Christmas. So I'll have to pull that out and finish it. But it's super cute. So I ordered a bunch of yarn for her dresses and for, all of the things that went into her. And I had some left over. And of course, I feel like I'm always saying Knit Picks, but I ordered from Knit Picks, and it's their Swish DK, which is 100% superwash merino. And I had some carnation left, which is just a really pretty pink. And Bordeaux. And then I had yellow, but I completely used it up. And I think it was something. It's funny because I have another one that I'm going to share today that has the name cornflower, but I think it was actually cornflower. It's a yellow, really pretty. And then another thing in my stash that I don't even know where I got this from, but it's Carlton's Merino Supreme. And I was looking today, there was no color, but it's a light gray blue. So if you can imagine with the yellow, I had these colors. So then I thought, ooh, this will be pretty with the Soldontna. And so that's what I used. And I still didn't use up all my yarn, but I used a significant amount. I think I did 2 skeins in each of those. Here's the pattern. I'm sure you've all seen this. So cute. So the other thing is, the reason why I've hesitated on this pattern, because I've seen this and I've really loved it on other people. I just love the color work. It's my favorite part. But my body type doesn't really go with a cropped sweater. At least I don't think so. I don't wear, I just think this is so cute. But I tend to be like, I have my biggest measurement on me is probably my hips. And so this actually kind of emphasizes that. And so I like pleats. I usually, for any skirt, I do like a pencil skirt, not anything pleated, even though I love this, it just doesn't look that great on me. So all that to say, I was kind of hesitant to do this because I didn't know if I was going to wear it very much. And then I thought, well, my daughter might wear it, which she has claimed it as well. However, I don't know if I'm going to give it to her, because what I ended up doing, let me show you the sweater. I have not finished. I've weaved in about half of the yarn ends. Here it is. And I added, told you before that my torso is really long. So on a crop, it would have been like it. Yeah, I just don't. It would have been like up here. So I added. I think you're supposed to do like 5 repeats of this, and I think I did 9. Kind of was thinking about just going until my yarn ran out, but then my yarn wasn't running out, and this is right at my waist. So it ended up turning out really cute. I think it's so cute. And I was having so much fun. I don't know. It's hard to know if you're a fast knitter or not. Like I look on YouTube and watch tutorials and they're just knitting so fast. And I think, oh, I'm kind of slow. But I knit this in a week. I mean, granted, it's short sleeved and short, but that was pretty good for me. So here's the back. Anyway, turned out really pretty. And I love that I just used up a lot of my yarn. And yes, my daughter likes it and wants to wear it, which is great. I'll let her borrow it, but I don't think I'm going to give it to her because I think I might wear it. So I will, once I weave those, and I have blocked it, but I just need to weave the strings in or the ends. And so once I do that, I'll maybe wear it for a podcast. So, but I finished that up probably a couple weeks ago, but I just wanted to show it to you because I was talking about really wanting to add more color work into my sweaters because I was looking at all my sweaters and they're very plain, and I love plain. That's just kind of my style, but I wanted to kind of amp it up a little bit. So this is really, and it was so fun. So, color work is just fun. It's interesting. It keeps you going. And I think it's very motivational to keep me knitting. I think that's why I knit faster. Well, maybe not even faster. I think I just spend more time on it because I'm like, ooh, what's the next combination going to look like? So I loved the pattern. Caitlin Hunter. She's actually from Portland. So I love her patterns. I think they're really pretty. And I ran into a mistake, but I looked online to see if anybody else did. So it probably was just user error. I just must have done it wrong. But on my, what do you call them? Short rows, it ended up being kind of over here. So I just had to change when I added the sleeves. I just moved them so that the short rows were more in the center. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that. I think it was just me, but I was able to figure it out. So that was good. All right. So 2 more finished objects. I've talked about these the last couple of times. I did finish my socks and I'm very happy with them. I didn't use a pattern. So I guess I have a narrow foot or narrower. So I usually do 56, cast on 56 stitches. And I just did a real simple rib, 2x2 rib. I think I did it for like 8 rounds. And then I probably make mine a little bit longer. I keep forgetting to look up what this heel is. I like it just because it's really reinforced. And then I do have like a size 9.5 US foot, so I can do them longer. And I use the Holst Garn flannel gray. And I loved this. It's really, I'm surprised it's fingering because it almost feels like, almost like lace. But when you knit with it, it's 100% wool. When you knit with it, it almost gives, I'm going to show you. It feels like it's almost felted. I mean, it's rustic, right? Because it's 100% wool. But I love when it knits. It's almost like the stitches, there's not stitch definition. So I don't know how that would work with a pattern of any sort, but I don't know. It might show up better because especially if you use different colors. but it felt like as I was knitting, the stitches just kind of melted into one another, and it just became very, almost felty, which I love, because when I think about a wool sock, like I want it to just be nice and warm and cozy. So they fit great. And I ordered several different colors, so I have that in my stash, so I may do another one. But we'll see. And then the third finished object, again, this took about a day for me because I just wanted something fast and bulky, and I am really trying to build up some Christmas gifts. So I had, again, going to my stash, had this Patton's Classic Wool Bulky, and I still have about 4 more skeins of this, so I might make more hats. I don't know. We'll see what else I can do with that. But I decided to do a wool hat, and I did it with cables, and I like it. It's just the cables kind of got lost in the marled, but I still really love it. I think it turned out great. And I do want to give this as a gift. I have a couple people in mind for this that I think it would look really cute. So, it's a nice long with the brim, and then you're supposed to just fold it up. Yeah. So I think it turned out really cute. I have some other bulky yarn in my stash that I may do as well. So the pattern is from this book from Knit Picks called Celtic or Celtic. I think Celtic Journey. I'm sure you guys have probably seen this on the Knit Picks website. It's got a lot of great, I love the Celtic look with the cables especially. So it is the Antrim hat, and it's by Sandra Nesbitt. But see how much more you can see the cables with just a plain yarn. So I think I will try another bulky weight yarn that doesn't have any like marling or any kind of pattern in it, and I think they'll turn out great. This is a great book. This is the first thing I've actually knit out of this book, partly because my issue with seaming, and a lot of these sweaters are, unfortunately for me, seamed because I get intimidated by those. But this is a cute wrap shawl that would be really fun. Love those cables. There's another a throw, really pretty. And there's this V-neck sweater that I love, but again, I don't know, it's seamed, so I'm a little nervous about that. But look at that, I don't know, there's a little bit of a glare, but that cable right down the center, and V-neck, I love V-neck, so that's super cute. And then there's this other one that's it's a cardigan, and it kind of has a little bit of a top-down idea because, let me show you, because it's structured like this. So you actually knit across this way. So it's not top down, it's side to side, but it's more one piece than it is a lot of seaming, but you still have to seam in the sleeves. But look at it, it's so cute. Oh, let me show you a full size. So just loving all the cables in here. Another hat and mittens. So there's a lot of good patterns in here that I would like to continue to try. Here's the back of that cardigan. Almost like a belt. And I'm sure you knit this first and then probably pick up stitches on both sides. That's what I would imagine. So anyway, But the hat went super quick, bulky. Yeah, I think it was on a Sunday and I just knit it. It was great. I think that's all for my finished objects. So last week I was talking about starting because I did finish. Oh, another one I finished, but I gave it as a gift and I didn't. Yeah, I was thinking about taking photos and I didn't. I'm bad about taking photos. I actually even had it on my list, photograph for Instagram, and I didn't do it. But I gave the shawl to our friend and office manager, Heather, and she loved it. And I'm excited to see it on her. So maybe when she's wearing it one day, I'll snap a photo and post that. So then that was done. My socks are done. I just have that other cowl that's just kind of I didn't even touch it this week. So I think that's 2 weeks in a row I haven't even touched it. So I need to get it back in the rotation because otherwise it's just going to sit there for a long time. But really just down to one project on the needles. So then I talked about working on the tile, work Afghan, and I got all that yarn. And I started working on it. And what happened? So I loved the first tile, or the first little square. And then I did the next square. And it was just, you had to pick up stitches. And it was a little uneven and wonky. Here's the first tile. And I changed this. This used to be kind of a white, light gray, and I changed it to, or white, and then I changed it to gray because I was thinking that would be a little more muted. But I picked up along here, and it wasn't lining up very well. And then I did that one, and then I did the next one, and I got 3 squares done, and it just felt sloppy. Again, it could be my seaming problem. I should just practice seaming and just get better at it. But I felt like I was going to be doing a lot of work and ending up just not being very happy with it because it was feeling sloppy. So the other thing is I'm using acrylic yarn. And I think if I had wool, it would be a lot sturdier. And I think that would be just the stitch definition would be better. And I think just picking up, it would just hold better. This is pretty floppy. And I think maybe that was part of the issue too. So I may hold out for doing that, but doing it with wool. And I know that means I can't wash it. Like I just have to soak it and block it. But so maybe that's just going to be down the road, and I just have to have special care on that. This one I was going to do for our family room, and I just need it to be really easy to throw in the washing machine and dryer, and just it's going to get a lot of use. So I thought, well, what am I going to do instead? So I looked up. I started with just going on Ravelry and looking up Afghans and throws. But I had saved a bunch in my favorites on my Ravelry page. And so I found, let me see if I can find this page. Found one that I saved, I think it was years ago. And it's always been in my favorites. And I've never, sometimes I'll go through my favorites and kind of like, yeah, I don't like it anymore and I'll get rid of it. But this has stayed. And so that's good because it means that it has longevity, and I've always loved it. It's from Barocco, and it was when Nora Gone was still there. The pattern's written by Nora Gone and Marjorie Winter, and it's called Autumn Haze. And it's an Afghan. It's out of their Afghans book. But look at that. How beautiful is that? So once again, it's color work. It's all these different patterns, no seaming. I thought, oh, this will work. And I had enough because remember when I ordered that yarn, I got several different options for the little squares. So I actually had enough yarn for this because it calls for 7 different colors. So it ended up working just great, which is wonderful. And so far I'm on row 51, and so far I'm just loving this. It's going quickly, it's fun, it's again like kind of like the Soldontna, where it's just so interesting, and the next combination of colors is always intriguing to me, like, oh, what's this going to look like together, different stitch patterns. So I'll show you what I have so far. Hold on. So this is liking to fold up for some reason. I'm gonna hold it where it like actually shows it. You can kind of see it. So it's very stripy. Yeah. And I'm using all sorts of colors. And it's just back and forth knitting. Really great. So that's fun. I'm really loving this more than I love the other one. It's feeling good to me, and I think I'm just gonna keep working on it. And again, it's very highly motivating. And there's a lot of sections that are just like stockinette or garter stitch, or it's not too complicated, so I can watch TV. The main color is this cobblestone, so it's in Brava, the Knit Picks worsted weight acrylic. And I've got the main color is this cobblestone heather, and then I've the dove heather. I wrote them all down. Dove heather. This is, I believe, this is the Marina. No. Yeah, Marina. Tide pool. You can see. They're really pretty colors. This one's bright, but it looks great. This is peacock. Then just a white and cornflower, which is what I was talking about earlier. Like, it's not interesting. Yeah. So that's fun. I'll keep you updated on how that's going. The rows are like 215 stitches, so the rows take a little bit of time, but again, it's just really fun. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm working on. I wrote it down. I don't think so. So that's, oh wait, no. Okay, so I thought, it's just keeping 3 projects going. I have the cowl, the bow cowl, the Autumn Haze Afghan, and I think that's all. So I thought, I was actually at the doctor's yesterday, and so I was sitting there going, I need something just mindless to work on. So of course I thought of socks. And I like this Knit Picks book that I got a while ago called Socktacular. And it's great because what it does is it just basically gives you options. So here's and they'll do top down or bottom up, whatever you prefer. But then they give you the 3 options of, you can do a rib, you can do this picot cuff, or a rolled cuff. And so you can choose whatever, and then you can choose whatever heel you want to do. And you can mix and match, and then whatever toe. And again, they have it for both top down and bottom up. And then they've just got, I don't know how many, but many pattern ideas. I'll show you. So they'll do like the pattern here, and then they've just got pages of that. So it's really fun. It feels like I love the idea of mixing and matching, because then I can do, I'll do this pattern, but with a rolled cuff, or this pattern with a rib cuff, or this kind of toe. Actually, I just do one toe, really. I think we all kind of figure out what our toe, which one we like, and stick with that. So, so I'm kind of doing a mixture of that. And I know I've talked about this before. This is my hand dyed yarn. It's a fingering, merino and nylon. And I ended up winding it into a cake, and it's just been sitting there, and I feel like it's been calling out my name. And so I just started on these yesterday. And what I wanted to show you is just how pretty the little speckles are. It's not focusing, sorry. And there's a little bit of striping. I'm doing just plain again because I really want to I'm more curious just how it's going to knit up. And I like that because I think there's enough going on with the dyeing that it doesn't really need any kind of pattern. Plus, it's so much easier when I'm just wanting to not have to think about a pattern. I just kind of mindless knitting. So anyway, these are just my on the go, grab it when I need to just kill time in the car or whatever. So now I do have, I guess I only have 2 projects. I told you last week that I was really like craving making a sweater, like a cable-y sweater. So I did put an order in for some yarn, some bulky yarn, because there was 2 sweaters that I'm looking at. I haven't decided completely, so I didn't want to show you today because I'll figure out what ones I want to do. But it's between 2, and one's a cardigan and one is just a pullover, but they're both bulky yarn. And the pullover is cable. So I think I'm probably leaning more toward that just because I've been kind of wanting to do a chunky cable-y sweater for this fall. So that yarn should be in the mail coming soon. Once it comes, then I'll go ahead and decide which pattern I want to do, and I'll let you know. So for now, I just have 2 things going. 2 things? No, I do have 3 because I have the cowl. So yeah, so I have 3. Once I finish the socks, I'll probably finish those before the yarn comes, and then I'll be able to go ahead and cast on for that. So that's where I am. That's, I ended up not doing any dyeing this week because last week it was all about dyeing. I showed everyone last week that I dyed the fiber that's hanging there, and then I dyed each individual color dye that I have on little mini skeins. And so I think that was that was enough dyeing. I just needed a break from that this week. But I am excited to start playing with the different colors. I have been going through my patterns and looking at my different color skeins and thinking, ooh, I would do this color and this color. So that's going to be in the future, but nothing to show this week. And I didn't order any yarn either. I haven't made a decision on the bulk yarn that I want to order. Actually, I think I've made a decision, but I haven't ordered it yet because I'm just wanting to make sure. It's going to be a big purchase, so I want to make sure that it's okay, and definitely talk with my husband about that because, it's a significant amount of money. But yeah, that'll be happening soon. So as far as what's going on at home, I mean, we just had a really good weekend. Ended up spending time with family, out of town family, which was fun. my cousin lives in Sacramento, and she came up, and my cousin's kids, who are all adults, came down from Washington, and we all had what we call a ranch day, where we go out to this property that my grandparents bought years and years and years ago. And we just worked on building some trails and just hanging out together. So it was super fun. Then we came back here and I got to hang out with my cousin and a couple, I guess it's my cousin's kids would be my cousin's once removed or something. Second cousins once removed. I don't know. I always get confused on that. But anyway, we just got a couple bottles of wine, sat outside, let the chickens out. We're watching chickens and having appetizers and just sitting. It was a lovely day. And we just sat in our backyard out here. We have these beautiful fir trees. And so that was really fun. It was just fun to just spend time with them. I just don't get much time with them. So that was lovely. Did a lot of applesauce. That was basically my week. So looking forward to getting more yarn and working on some more dyeing. So I will let you know. But I hope you guys are having a great week. And again, please, please, please subscribe and comment, like if you like this podcast. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Well, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Take care.